not really enough. I started doing research in LinkedIn, YouTube, and other people's resume. From those, I was collecting the data and I was studying it, and I was keeping it. When I was giving the interviews, I was telling them, okay, I know these things, but I didn't really done practically. So they hired me. When I got hired, I thought I will be learning the new things, but frankly speaking, they just wanted a little a puppy, so that they can follow the instructions what they have given. So the business analyst, the advisor, what have been done in entities is such a very good organization I have ever worked with. Very good package, a nice environment, seniors, and all those things. But the work was very minimal. It just preparing the BRD, conducting the requirement, and it is also not a fresh kind of a project. It's an last year's project actually. So we have to reconduct the requirement, and just we need to update the requirements here and there. That's it. The project has been completed within 2 months. Then my mom has been expired due to cancer. I was busy, and they were really kind enough. They have put me into very another project, a little bit of delay project, and I have done here and there a little bit of BA work in the RCM projects, revenue cycle management, and that's it. I got laid off because BCBS RA projects has been acquired by HCL.
Mm.
So they
No.
asked me to come to Bangalore. So I don't have a father and a mother. I have a younger brother and a dog so I didn't want to, shift to another state. So that's the reason, ma'am. But this is a frankly, but I have a very good knowledge on US healthcare because from the starting itself, I was working into LabCorp and eBoss. So from basics, I have a good understanding. But business analyst, ma'am, very frankly, I was in a on a step one, then I was into step 15, the step 50, and then I have reached in NT data 90th step. In between, what are the numbers? It's a major missing. So I hope you understand what I'm telling you.
Yeah, so
Am I
here,
fast? I hope I'm fast.
yeah, that's fine. So here from this project, right? So did you work in an agile environment?
No, ma'am, it was a completely waterfall methodology itself. I didn't really worked in any kind of an agile Jira, no
Mm.
SQL, no Scrum, anything. But if you ask me on a overall little bit what it is, I have an idea. But practically, I have a very zero knowledge.
Okay, so you got laid off because there was a vendor change, and then entity, and if you want to complete, I mean, continue your employment, they want you to move to a different location, but
Yes.
since due to your family concerns, you are not unable to move, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about tech systems?
Ma'am, frankly speaking, tech systems here they have hired in a very much bulk. They have given the work, position as a business analyst, but the work is ticketing. You need to resolve the tickets. So what I have thought is there is no SOPs, there is no proper kind of an hierarchies. What should we follow and whom should we report? If we have a doubt kind of thing, what should we refer? Whom should we have to ask? It didn't there. I have been there for 3 months. I was very much confused. I was working for 14 long hours, but I was not able to resolve the tickets. Then I have decided I just need to put the papers, and I just came out. I don't want to work where I don't understand work environment, and there is no support from the management. So I didn't really mention ticketing because it will be another kind of an project, so it will not match my thing. So I just put a little bit of BA kind of a thing in here in tech system. I'm being very much frank because you are taking time and giving me, reviewing my resume.
Yeah, so when we say ticketing, what kind of tickets you were resolving?
It's an unsolved, what should I say? Payments, denials, those things. We will be getting a kind of a PDF, maybe how many pages it will be. It will be up to 200 pages also. We should review each and every claim and each and every particular section of the claim, and we need to look where the mistake has been done. Is it a mistake at the spelling mistake, date of birth mistakes, these kind of mistakes? Then we need to resolve the ticket. And it was pretty much hard because there was no SOP or anything, and we should by end of the Friday we should be giving the have we solved that ticket or not, we should be giving the update.
So you said working on payers, right? So
Yeah,
did
that
you
was
work for?
completely No, not related to the project, ma'am, because ticketing, I didn't really, as I said, g- I didn't like it, so I just left the organization. Then I
Mm.
just, as I said, I was reviewing another people's resume. Then I
So
started
this
looking
one, as
into,
you're saying, is fake. This one is fake, right?
yeah, but the employment is right. But the
Mm.
entire project what I have mentioned is a kind of a repeated to what I have done in Value Labs, those
Oh,
things.
okay, so here, so the tickets are submitted by providers or from payer side?
From payer side, ma'am.
Okay, did you work with some of the major payers?
Yes, ma'am. There will be all the payers, ma'am. The claims will be all kind Medicare, Medicaid, Humana, Aetna, all kind of payers will be there. It's not into specific into payers, but everyone can be. As
Mm.
for primary insurance, secondary, tertiary insurance, there will no right, ma'am. So all
Mm.
kind of payers will be there.
Okay, so who is going to give you instructions? Who trained you on like how to resolve these tickets?
Nobody actually trained.
Mm.
When I have joined, they gave me US healthcare basic training, and they told me like we will be assigning, for 2 weeks we will be assigning five kind of tickets in Jira. Then we have to, you entirely how to pull the ticket, how to save it, and all those things. Then we used to have like 40 kind of screen, and we should go if we get any, kind of an number. I just forgotten the number name,
Mm.
claim number. Yeah,
Mm.
we have to check it in that 40 kind 40 screens.
Mm. Okay, it's all manual
So
then. So you just pull up
yeah,
40 different screens and then you manually
yes,
review everything.
yes,
Okay.
yes, if we have a doubt, that's a kind of an pilot project.
Got it. So the ticketing system that you used is Jira, that's what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so once you resolve the tickets, then what happens?
I don't know, ma'am. Frankly speaking, I didn't even resolve one ticket also. Very frankly speaking, I'm
Okay.
being very frank. I didn't. It got me very much headache, ma'am. I used to sit on that for 14 hours every single day. But
Mhm.
there was no SOP. I don't know whom to talk. Everybody was new, and
Mm.
everybody given that title business analyst and senior business analyst, and there was no kind of an actual business analyst work.
So they just hired you and then they didn't train you and then they gave you a bunch of tickets and also they
Yes.
gave you some different, like they said, navigate all these screens and resolve it
Yes.
by on your own. That's what they did. Like,
Yes.
so like did the seniors they guide you or like they are also unaware what's happening in the
That's what I'm telling you, ma'am. It's a kind of a pilot project, and the people, just 3 months before we joined, the seniors were just 3 to 6 months senior to us. They
Mm,
were from Chennai,
okay.
and they are also struggling to complete the work. If we don't, give the update by Friday, Monday evening by 8 o'clock, we will be getting an escalation. So how? I'm so sorry, ma'am. I don't know if you believe it or not. I swear on God, it's what really happened.
So you have to do it on you, figure it on your own. If not, you get
Yes.
escalated. Okay, good.
Yes.
So you just left because of frustration. You don't want to be there.
Yes, because there should be a guidance at least what we should do
Mm.
if
So
we don't
from
understand.
September 2022 till like Jan 2023, so you were like like finding like you had that career gap, right? So you're figuring out what to do.
Yes, ma'am, there was a lot of career gaps. I'm really very much frustrated.
Mm.
And I was, but when I was working, no, yeah, ma'am, I was very much frustrated actually.
Okay, so you have a career gap here.
And you can ask me like, why don't you like take the this kind of thing, paid services for learning and all those things, ma'am. But at the time of COVID, my mother is also she was a daily wager, so she is
Mm.
also not having any kind of work. We were just sitting and eating limited amount of food and paying for Wi-Fi, and I was just learning from the YouTube and all those parts. But at the time of 2022, 2021, also there is no much more of information as we have today.
Right, right, correct. Okay, so then from like value lab solution, like you have to tell me here what did you do here?
So here I used to work for Plansos, third party. Plansos. So it was a configuration of insurances. There will be a bulk of small scale and medium scale of organizations, and we used to work on active, passive, and ongoing enrollments of the company. So I have literally worked for 30 plus of configurations, and in the span of 6 months, it was a contract for 6 months itself.
Okay. So when we said, so this was also not anything like
No,
agile. So you
not
didn't have
actual
Scrum time.
actual
Mm.
BA. This is not really actual BA, ma'am, because what I have seen from Value Labs, Tech Systems, and Entity Data, they only give what they want, like what the client wants and what the BA manager or BA lead.
Mm,
That only we it works. Like just here also they used to give the details in an Excel sheet or in an Word, and by that only we used to follow. We should not even put our mind and think, oh, how we need to do what we need to do. So I
okay.
here also, because I was not getting proper BA job, I was really so much interested and desperate to get into BA,
Mm,
because I was not making much money into I mean BP, US Healthcare BPO.
right. Okay.
So I just turned from here itself. I got a lot more of knowledge on we do. I got to know, like, we do have configuration, we do have UAT testing, we do have EDI. And one more thing, ma'am, whenever I sit to study for EDI, I used to get headaches. So I only have a very basic kind of a knowledge into EDI.
Okay. So, okay, got it. And then what about Hinduja Global?
So Hinduja Global is just a very basic, ma'am. I was just out of the college
Mm,
and I really desperately wanted to work for tax and finances because I really studied hard for good 5 years. I took CC, then BCom. So it's a good 5 years. I've studied, put my efforts into finance and tax. Then unfortunately, very casually, I just gave the interview and got the job. Then I want to, get into finance, but it didn't happen. So I just continued there itself. So I have worked for different kind of a projects here.
okay. Career move. So you're saying that ideally you don't want to get into healthcare, right? So your
Yes.
goal wasn't to get into finance.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you dropped it because you got an opportunity here. So you just want to continue
Then
this.
after I got into Deloitte, ma'am, but I was so new to the corporate system. I don't want to know. Sorry, I didn't know I can, abscond or, put the papers and I can join it. So that was my major mistake. I didn't even discuss this to anybody.
So you got Deloitte in 2016,
Yes, ma'am.
but you didn't. That was like IT
No, ma'am, into taxes.
into taxes. Okay, got it. But you didn't go there.
Because I don't have anyone to discuss about it, and we were just fresh out of the college, and I don't know how to, those things.
Got it. So your graduation is you have a degree in BCom. So it's you don't have any computer science or
No, no, no,
engineering
no,
background, right?
no, ma'am.
Okay, got it. So, and now your career goal is like to get into healthcare, US
Yeah.
healthcare,
Yeah, ma'am, one
and
more thing I want to tell you. I'm sorry, but speaking like this, but you need to really see what the picture is. That's the reason I have told you entire truth. I have turned 30 last month now on November 27th, okay? So I am very much serious in my career. I may be married in 1 or 2 years because this is really irrelevant by speaking actually, but I just want to tell you how much I am serious. I'm really seeking your guidance and to become the best in my field. I don't want to go back to finance and taxes. I really tried in the COVID time, but they didn't accept it and they asked me to join as a fresher. But at that moment, it was financial criticality and all those things. I'm not working. My brother was in still in college. My mother is also not working. So that's the reason I didn't really choose to be a fresher and start over again. And it will create a lot of friction in my finance commitment. So that's the reason I walking in the path of US healthcare itself.
okay. So you want to become healthcare BE and you want to get into IT. That is your primary goal, right? As soon as
Yes,
possible.
ma'am. I know what is healthcare, how it works, and all those things, ma'am. But I really want to know how business analysis from scratch, how it develops. Like if we build a home, how it really starts. I want to know because I started from one. Then after I went to 15, 25, 30, and then I went to in entity data. They gave me double promotion because of knowledge on my US healthcare and good communication and presentation skills, ma'am. I was nowhere even I can't even be a junior business analyst, but they just gave me, business analyst advisor.
Okay, and the package also was good, right? Okay.
Very great.
hmm Unfortunately, I mean,
Yeah.
you're
But
unable to
I think
continue that.
one more thing I would really want to tell you, ma'am, it's a fortunate thing only because I was nowhere learning anything. Everything was just ready made. It was very much ready. and you just, and there is no, not even a scratch kind of a project. Everything was already last year project. I just want to refer, and they will be, the client also referring the last year's BRD, and this they will give me any update, any delete kind of thing from the BRD, any new links. That's it. There is no kind of an, I want to, I will be learning, I will be doing it from the scratch, and there is nothing like that.
Okay. So I have a few questions here. So you want to get into healthcare ITBA and you want to stay in Hyderabad. So you don't want to move because you want to take care of your brother. So that's there. And then um also you don't want to get into like any different field, right? So IT healthcare, that's your core.
Uh,
Um
Ma'am, if I will become a good business analyst, I can move to finance and tax like that, ma'am. But I don't even have a business analyst proper knowledge, and I really forgot it, finance and taxes. Then it's not even possible. What I personally believe, what I've learned is I mean, in US healthcare also, I was very strong in US healthcare and communication presentation. That's the reason I was able to crack those value labs, tech systems, and entity data, ma'am. If I really don't have the basic things, I really can't even crack, other core things also, right? If I have like, my prescription, please correct me if I am wrong. If I have any good business analyst skills, communication and presentation, learning finance and tax will be very easy for me, ma'am. If I don't really have those things, and it will be, I can't, very difficult, what I feel.
right. So domain knowledge is
And
good.
I have even done certification into AHM 510, ma'am, which is related to governance, legal issues, Medicare and Medicaid.
So so after this, right? Like how many interviews did you attend?
I have attended like 15 kind of interviews, ma'am. Majorly, I have been rejected because I don't have like agile, scrum,
Mm,
practical kind of a knowledge. I used to tell what I know, like what I have learned from YouTube, just theoretical things. But yeah, but what I have, seen, ma'am, they were expecting what the answers or what kind of knowledge the manager has. So if I, doesn't reciprocate in their way or in their manner, I was getting rejected, though I was right.
correct. So in those 15 interviews, can you tell me what are the questions that you were like you were unable to answer? You just like stuck and said, I don't know.
They used to, ask how Scrum Master will work and all those things, Agile, how the thing Agile really works, Jira kind of things and all. But I sorry, I don't really remember, but these kind of questions.
Okay. So you were unable to tell anything about agile methodology, Scrum
Yes.
ceremonies, what Scrum Master will do.
Yeah.
Did they
And
ask
business
you about?
analysis also, they were asking like Moscow,
Mm,
these kind of things, ma'am, because I didn't really worked upon these kind of core skills when I was working as a business analyst in three of my organizations. So when I was technically asking, I was not able to, give it. And do you have any, knowledge on development, testing, and
mm,
all those things? But I really don't have any kind of knowledge on it. I have done only UAT when I was in Value Labs, and it is also like already a template was available, like how we should do and what we need to add it. But I had didn't done anything from scratch.
right. So they asked you about
Test
techniques,
cases,
right?
use cases,
Mm-hmm.
user stories, and these kind of things. I was able to explain how what it is, how it is. But when they give certain kind of example and tell me, I was being stuck there.
Okay. So they asked you about test plan, test cases, test scenario.
Use
Okay.
stories, user stories.
Okay. And then about user stories. Okay, we have that there. Then they asked about like the BA techniques. You said Moscow.
Yes, yes,
Is there
yes,
any
ma'am.
other specific technique that they were talking?
No, ma'am, as of now, I don't really remember.
Okay. Did they
Uh,
ask you anything about flow diagrams and stuff?
Not really, ma'am, no. I
Okay.
know flow diagrams, and this will be UML and all those things, but
Mm.
they didn't ask me. But I really don't know how to do. Frankly speaking, if you give a scenario and you ask me how to do, I really don't know.
Okay.
I
Did
can
they
only
ask you
explain
about
you.
anything about SQL?
Yes, ma'am, SQL.
Hmm.
Ma'am, I want to tell you here one thing. I know SQL like very basic in 2022 when I was preparing for the interviews and all these things. But after my mother's death, I have become a brain fog. Keeping SQL in my mind is getting a bit difficult. I'm being very much frank here.
Yeah, I mean, when did you lose your mother? Which month?
September, in September, ma'am.
September last year.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, 2023, right?
Yes, ma'am. Then after I lost my mother's sister, both are due to cancer itself.
Okay, I'm very sorry about that.
And then
So
after itself, I have lost my job. It's like
continuously,
slapping me
like
three
back to back,
times.
yeah, back to
Yeah,
back, you're
back to back.
getting trouble, right? I got it. So yeah, so when it comes to SQL questions, so you said like you had you know about SQL, but you don't have any thorough knowledge, right? If they give you
Yes, ma'am.
complicated, like if they ask you about joints, can you give me, if they give you about a scenario and how
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
use left joint, right joint, whether you'll be able to answer those scenarios?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that's there. Okay, then what, like, did they ask you anything like behavioral questions? Like about stakeholders, like how do you handle negative stakeholders and how do you handle like your developers? Did they ask you any kind of questions like that?
Ma'am, I didn't really interacted with developers in any of my business analyst job roles, ma'am.
Mm,
So they asked me this question: How can you not, did you write functional FRDs, SRS? I said no, I didn't, because in entity we have all kind of people. Like for BRDs, we have business analyst and functional analyst, system analyst, and developers,
mm,
separate people. So I never got a chance to talk to them.
okay. But they asked you this question, do you know how to do
Yes,
documentation?
yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes, and behavior question is very usual, ma'am. If they
Mm,
don't, give a specific requirement on time, what you will be doing, and if they don't trust you, how you gonna communicate.
mm,
If they gave you requirement today and they were not available for next 2 3 days, or they went on a holiday, then
mm.
how you will be completing that requirement and all those things.
Okay, handling stakeholders. That's the major of your questions, right? How do you handle stakeholders?
Yes.
Okay, these are some behavioral questions. So, Lakshmi, I will tell you like what I figured out, right? First thing is you like huge experience in product development. You have never worked in an environment where a software product was developed, right? So all your
Mm-hmm.
projects, if you see entity data, even though some product was there, but for you, you didn't have direct I mean, everyday integration with your developers. You don't know how a healthcare product is being developed, so
Yes.
you just like got some requirements, you documented, and that's about it. It was as you said, even though it was like more than a year,
Yes, ma'am.
the
Exactly.
work was very minimal. You didn't have a scrum team. You don't know who's a scrum master. That's why you are unable to answer this. So you have
Yes.
never
Ma'am,
worked.
in entity data, there was no Scrum Master in tech system, and in Value Labs also there was no Scrum Master. We were just reporting to the, project manager or
Mm,
BA lead, BA manager. That's it. We
that's
just
it.
need to, we used to give like
Mm,
what requirement was actually going on,
mm,
whether the stakeholders are creating any problems or properly giving the requirements or not, whether when we are sending the taking the requirements, and when we are sending for an approvals in minutes of meetings, are they approving it or not, you are updating the BRD properly or not.
okay.
That's it.
So I'll say from a skill gap perspective, you need to understand that where do you have that gap, right? You don't have any product development experience, and
Yes,
you
ma'am.
don't have any agile IT scrum experience. That's why you are unable to answer these questions. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so that's one lag we have. Then the next one is, even though you have some domain knowledge,
Mhm.
you didn't have any. So you said you gathered requirements and you documented, but um, like gathering requirements from like US clients, from stakeholders, it's very different process. It's a very, very
Mhm.
different process because sometimes stakeholders from the US, right? Sometimes they themselves don't know what is the requirement. They get like one-liners from the state, from central government, but they themselves don't know what is that actual product they're going to develop. So it involves integration with multiple systems. So you are lacking that experience too. So you just joined one team and someone is giving you requirements, you're just mimicking them, you're just documenting, but you didn't have any chance to work with other IT teams, right? No.
Yes, ma'am. Because, ma'am, it wasn't, every year the same project will be running, ma'am. So it was already done 2 3 from the past 2 3 years. So this will also repeat, and next year also will be repeating. It's in developing, updating hospitals website
Got it. So it's an existing system, and then
project.
you're
Yes,
just like enhancing it, okay, here and there.
yes, that's it.
So you don't have any like new product development
From
experience.
scratch. Yes.
Yeah. And no experience with other teams or vendors or even with international stakeholders, even though you know about like US healthcare.
No, when I was working with NTT, I was working with with the international stakeholders itself.
Here, entity. So what, I mean, like someone from the US, like they gave
Yes.
you requirements?
Yes, in the Value Labs also same, and in the Hinduja Globals also the same. In the HGS, I was working as a process consultant. It was in an, calling one.
No, okay. So when they give you requirements, okay, so you get that and you document it. You're not actually like coordinating with your developer.
No,
Mm. Okay, so you get the requirements, but you are not actually creating any kind of user stories, anything like you're
no,
not developing
no,
anything in Jira board, you're not documenting anything in Confluence, and you're not
no.
like coordinating with your Scrum team. Okay.
Anything.
Mm,
We just get the requirements. We will be having minutes of meeting. I used to, update that one. Then I used to send that email to the people who have attended that requirement session,
mm,
and adding my, BA lead. And I will be waiting for 2 days for
mm.
approval of that requirement. If I get approval, then I will be updating that to the BRD.
Okay. So, what about like how, so you get requirements and then you document it, right? Like, how about test plan? So, you said you had experience with UAT. So, what kind of testing you did in which product?
I was done in Value Labs, ma'am. So it was a configuration, a plan source one, where a company employees will be, choosing active and ongoing those kind of enrollments. So they will be having a plan source login page, giving the passwords and selecting each and every individual plan, whether the amount reflecting properly or not. If we are giving in a dummy name and
Mm,
dummy password or any dummy family, if we are choosing it that properly, able to see it or not. That's it. Not really the major one.
okay. So, it's not like end to end, right? End to end, you get sign off from, do you get sign off from stakeholders and all that?
Yes, I have done those sign-offs in Value Labs and entity also, ma'am. Like we used to, we used to have a call, and they used to check everything, and then they say we are very good to go, and we used to record that call, and we used to take it in a written format, which is in the mail,
Mm,
and then we used to in Value Labs we used to update it in the Salesforce.
okay. So, after that, what happens? Do you have any experience in post implementation?
Uh, the, uh, After that, for Value Labs, ma'am, it used to go live directly, ma'am.
Okay. So, you have not done any post implementation, right?
No,
Validation, nothing like that. So once
no,
something goes live, like do you validate it after the go live in production? No,
no, no. I didn't. Sorry, I have didn't done those things, ma'am.
those things. Okay. So you have some knowledge about UAT, you have got sign-offs and all that. Okay. But you don't have no knowledge in.
No,
Uh,
anywhere as a BA, I didn't done these things.
okay. So I have to be really like frank with you, right? So you have significant lack in skills. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
And I mean, watching YouTube videos, all that self-study is good, it's great, that's what will keep you motivating, but you have to, I mean, like, so since this is a program where I take candidates, I coach them completely, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what I will coach you is like mostly on the skill gap that you have.
Sure, ma'am.
So we are going to like in future, what we are going to do is every session, whatever skill gap we have that you have, we'll focus on those topics, and I'll tell you, for example, how to work in Jira, how to get for we can use like this project itself, and I will tell you how to write user stories. And hypothetically, I have to teach you like if there is a user story end to end, how do you create test plan, test scenarios, and also like certain BA skills, elicitation techniques, all that you need to know. And you also need to know about like, how to answer this behavioral questions, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it will take at least 3 weeks for me to train.
Sure,
It will
ma'am.
take 3 weeks because it's, see, you have healthcare domain skills, but what the interviewers are looking for is like core IT skills.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, I understand.
So, I mean, it's good you have domain skills. That is fine. But what they are looking for is like a BA who knows about IT in and out, how a product is being developed. In order to develop a software product, what are the steps? What is SDLC? What is software development lifecycle? What are the different phases? And as a BA, like you need to like gather the requirements on what are the difficulties you face during requirement gathering, and how do you communicate effectively to your developers. And see, if you at least in one project, if you have worked, you would have a proper project. If you have worked, you would have had that experience. Since your entire career, you didn't have even one project with
Yes,
like
ma'am, that's true.
that's where you're unable to answer. So we need to focus on those skills,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we need to make sure that you develop that skills. It will take 3 weeks, as I told you. So it will like take 3 weeks for me to teach you, for you to grasp, and then we have to do like multiple mock interviews and then update your resume, because your resume, I have not seen any one single word as agile.
No, I think I have written my professional skills.
Yeah, so I mean, nobody is going to like, um, I mean, for the 15 interviews that you got the calling, that itself is a huge thing, because you have not anywhere like mentioned here as agile, Scrum, or anything, but they asked you in the interview. That's very like very concerning for me, because you have not mentioned agile anywhere in your resume,
Ma'am,
but
that's what
they.
I said. They are asking me what they actually know. I have even attended interviews where the
Mhm.
interviewer doesn't even know about healthcare,
Mm.
but they were interviewing about business analysis and these kind of things. When
I
I was,
mean,
yeah, that's
from their perspective, from a hiring manager perspective, they are not worried about whether, I mean, if it's good to hire a person who knows about this healthcare domain stuff and everything.
but
Okay.
maybe I am really new to IT. I'm not
Mm.
able to, get how the things done here. So that's the reason it's a kind of an confusion and those things. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah,
So they
ma'am.
they are not, see, domain part is like, it's good. You have that not domain knowledge, it's good. But we don't want people who have just domain knowledge and don't have this IT like core BA IT skills, right? Then you obviously we don't want, because when they hire you, they pay for you. You have to remember
Yes,
that when they hire you from day one, they pay for you. So they are not entitled to train you. So
yes,
when you say 5.5 experience, 5.5 years of experience, so what they're thinking is, okay, this person has 5.5 years of experience. When I hire this person from day one, this person will be able to adapt to the IT team, to the Scrum team, must be able to answer all the stakeholders' questions, must be able to talk with the developers, must be really confident, you should have documentation skills. So they want someone who can scale up to that level within like a week or two, right? And they're not going, nobody is going to give you training, that's for sure.
yeah,
Nobody, not even a single candidate gets training in IT
yes,
unless you join as like a fresher, like from college, and you get into training and all that. That's a whole different thing. You graduated a long time ago and you didn't have
yes,
engineering
ma'am.
experience too. So you have to understand all that. So no IT experience, engineering degree, then you come into like a set of some healthcare projects, but no real IT product development experience, no agile experience, and also no this testing experience, nothing. That's why you are unable to clear.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so we should focus on, um I mean, it's again and again, I want to tell you can have healthcare experience, that's totally
Mhm.
fine, but I want you to become that BA in IT. So your core, your skill development, right? You need to focus on agile terminology, is agile, because that is the trend here. Agile is the trend. All the Fortune 400 companies, right? They want people who knows agile. So you need to like focus on how to write a proper user story. What is acceptance criteria? Take multiple use cases and then prepare like, and then you have to answer them. Also SQL. I want
Yes,
you to
ma'am.
learn about all the left join, right join, and then also multiple examples. And then if they ask you something examples, you need to like say reporting perspective too. You should say, if they ask you like, do you have experience in reporting? You should say like, yeah, I have experience. These are the reports that I generated for my stakeholders. Here is an example. So it will take 3 weeks, and we will
Mhm.
have like weekly like 2 calls.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so the program is like weekly 2 calls for the next 3 weeks, and we will focus on all your skill gaps
Sure, ma'am.
one by one. And you have to be patient. I understand a lot went in your personal life. I'm sorry about it. It's in such a young age. It's very unfortunate that you lost your family. But
It
don't
was
worry.
actually very unexpected, ma'am. We didn't, from the last moment also, she was very fine. I don't know if should I really discuss this on call or not, but yeah.
That's fine. Okay. I
It,
don't want you to lose hope, and I want you
no,
to
no,
be.
ma'am, I'm not really losing. That's the reason I'm taking this call. Like, I was very much enthusiastic, learn from you and all these things. But when I saw the amount like you were taking, I'm not really saying anything towards you, ma'am, because you hold a very good knowledge. But it was not in my budget at at this point of time. I need money to survival purpose also. So that's the reason I was really waiting and praying. I don't know.
Yes. Um, I mean, like, what's the purpose of all this YouTubing and coaching, right? We need to help people. So I thought, okay, let me pick this candidate because it's not that you don't have skills, you have excellent skills, but there is a skill gap. You need to like understand
Ma'am,
that.
just be genuine, ma'am, because I don't want to really waste your time or my time because I'm very much being very frank. I have turned 30 and I being a lady, I should be very much serious because I don't have any kind of a background support or property or anything. I lost my dad when I was just very young, very tender, at just 8 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to really, I understand next 10 years, the world will be changing in a very fast pace. There is nothing like when I was in school, the IT was like an full of filmy and full of very enjoying kind of thing. I used to hear from my cousins and such study. I used to read in newspapers and watching TVs, but now it's very scary.
Right, right, right. So we'll have to do like step by step, right? Like I don't want you to think so much ahead and all. What we'll do for the next 1 month, we'll focus on these trainings. We'll make
Mhm.
sure that your skills get updated, your resume get updated, and we're going to try it in the market. And then when you get calls, you're going to have mock interviews with me, and then you're going to take those real interviews, right? So we'll take baby steps. So do not focus on a larger perspective because we never know what kind of new technology is going to come and all that. We never know that. So for time being, for next 1 month, we have a solid plan. Like, yeah, these are the topics I should learn. These are the skills I need to develop, and these are the skills like I lack. So I'm just going to focus on that and keep updating my resume. This resume needs to be updated for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you cannot put like, I mean, it's good that you have something for your background check. You have something word like BA, right? So that's a good thing. But this resume needs to get updated for sure. There is no agile wordings or a sprint terminologies here, and no real IT like STLC. Those kind of keywords needs to be there. So we will focus on that also, how to update your resume. But for the next 3 weeks, we will be targeting on how to upgrade all these skills, core skills, IT skills.
Yes, ma'am.